What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Tuesday. Happy semifinals day 2. And we got that to talk about. We're going to talk about exit interviews and why in the world Angel, Sloot, and Ariel are skipping them and why other teams are doing the same. We're also going to talk about Unrivaled, who has started to unveil their players. We got some returners. We got some new players. We're going to talk about that as well. So, get ready for Quita in the Morning, which starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Yes, it's time to get ready because we got to talk about exit interviews, guys. We got to talk about exit interviews. So, got some new news out of the WNBA that came out yesterday, and news that I feel like I may have been one of the first to post on Twitter about, which I thought was kind of cool. It was one of those things where I got the scoop faster. I got the email and I immediately tweeted about it like a minute after I got the email. Whereas other people, it was sort of like waiting like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. Anyway, got some news to talk about with the exit interviews. And also, guys, if y'all want breaking information from me, Twitter is where you find it. Okay, I don't have time to do a video all the time, but I will quickly post something on Twitter. And so that's what I did yesterday. So if you were following me on Twitter, you know the news already. All right. So today we're going to talk about exit interviews. Yes, exit interviews, those very awkward postseason sit-downs where players, coaches, and GMs reflect. Sometimes they slightly vent and get their way through the interviews as they disappear off into either vacation or overseas play. Not every team does them. Not every player participates. And right now, the big headline is that the Chicago Sky announced that Angel Reese, Courtney Vandersloot, and Ariel Atkins will not be doing exit interviews. Even though, 2 weeks ago, they said that those interviews would be scheduled at a later date. Didn't really believe them then. Turns out I was right not to believe them, as they have now canceled them. So let's break it down, talking about exit interviews. So first, you all are probably wondering, are exit interviews mandatory or are they optional? Well, exit interviews are optional. The league does not mandate them. Specific teams do exit interviews every year, but every WNBA team does not have to do an exit interview, right? Teams are not required to hold them, and I think it depends on the actual team rules on whether or not players are required to participate, but I don't think they totally are. Exit interviews are meant to be a chance of reflection for individual players and coaches and GMs. It is an opportunity for teams to get questions from the media. And exit interviews are a way for fans to get closure on a season and possibly have that be the last thing you see of a player. But let's be real, guys. A lot of players and teams, they don't see the point of exit interviews. Think about it this way. If you're frustrated with how the season went, you're unhappy not just with your team performance, but maybe you're unhappy with the front office or your coaching staff, or you're upset about something. Or as a front office, you know that your players are upset about something and you don't want certain stuff to be said. Well, skipping an exit interview makes a lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. Now, even if things are going well and you just don't want players to put their foot in their mouth, or you don't want the media to have an opportunity to take players out of context, you might just say, hey, as a whole team, we're skipping out on the exit interviews. We don't think they're necessary. We're not doing them. That's not a thing that we are doing. And that's a route that some teams have taken, even amid success. And that's how it is. This season, we've seen a mixed bag of teams participating in exit interviews. So kind of the quick TLDR kind of, it's nothing to read, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, real quick, let's just go over some of the teams that have participated in the exit interviews and teams that have not. So the teams that have skipped completely are the New York Liberty. No exit interviews for them. The Atlanta Dream, for the second year in a row, they are not doing exit interviews. Instead, according to a Twitter post by Megan Hall, shout out to Megan Hall, fantastic reporter. She did report that on Wednesday, GM Dan Padover and head coach Carl Semesco will be having a availability with press on Wednesday. So no official exit interview, but they will be talking to the media, which is good. Dallas Wings, no exit interviews for them. On the flip side, we've seen a few that have actually done a full exit interview, like the Golden State Valkyries, the Seattle Storm, more about the Seattle Storm in just a bit, the Washington Mystics, the LA Sparks, the Connecticut Sun, and yes, the Chicago Sky, well, at least most of the roster, because again, Angel Reese, Courtney Vandersloot, and Ariel Atkins are not doing them. The team has announced yesterday that those three players are not doing exit interviews, but everybody else had their exit interviews. And then let's continue on the Chicago Sky vein, and because I think here's where not doing an exit interview hurts. So the Sky did hold interviews for most of the team, but their three biggest, or not three, they're three biggest, but definitely the number one biggest player on the team, Angel Reese, is not doing them. And Ariel Atkins, who, had some comments in the paper, right? And Courtney Vandersloot, who's been injured, but has some thoughts about what was previously said. None of these three players are participating in exit interviews. And these are the three players that a lot of conversation and a lot of questions are being had on. You don't have to be a detective to wonder and speculate why in the world this is happening. And fans are upset. Yes, exit interviews are voluntary, but when your biggest stars, the people who have been at the top of the blogs, the top of people's minds when talking about what's happening with the Chicago Sky, it makes you wonder, and it makes you say, hey, why y'all dodging? Why are y'all dodging questions? What's going on here? Is Angel Reese actually in conversation with GM Jeff Pagliacca, like he kind of suggested that she was? Is that happening? Where does Angel Reese stand with this team? Where does she stand? Has she requested a trade from this team? Has she requested that certain changes be made for her to return back to this team? How about Courtney Vandersloot? What does she really think about what was previously said? Does she think that she will be the starting point guard for the Chicago Sky next year? Now, it's clear that Courtney Vandersloot will be returning because that's what Jeff basically said in his exit interview. And so finding out from Courtney, like, hey, well, what do you think? How long do you really think you have as a starting point guard in the WNBA? What does your rehab look like? Will you be back by the start of the season? Or are you encouraging Jeff and the rest of the front office to bring in another quality point guard who could be a starter? Right? And then Ariel Atkins, the player that you traded fantastic draft assets for. Most notably, the number 3 draft pick in this year's draft, Sonia Citron. You traded that for Ariel Atkins, who didn't have that great of a season. It was okay, but not great. And Ariel Atkins is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. Finding out from her, like, hey, what are your thoughts? Are you returning back to this team? Did you have a plan at the beginning of the season to return to this team? Did anything change with that plan as the season went on? Because the Sky gave up 4 years of Sonia Citron. And if Ariel Atkins does not return that 1-year loaner, I mean, even if she did return, I think that 1-year loaner was a bad deal, number one. And number two, you know, even though it was a bad deal, you want to have some sort of return on it, right? But that's the question. Is Ariel Atkins even returning after we gave up so much to get her? Because she doesn't have to, right? And then figuring out from all three, what do they think about the front office? What do they think about the job that Jeff has done bringing players into Chicago to play? What does it take to get better players? Or do they think what they did this year was just fine enough? Is Ariel Atkins proud of her play? Is Courtney Vandersloot proud of her play before she got hurt? Does she anticipate being still the starter? Has Angel Reese learned more from the front office and GM after she made her comments to the Chicago Tribune? Has anything different changed? There's a lot of questions that I have, and I tell you, exit interviews could have been a great opportunity to get some of those questions answered, but I understand why the Sky are like, actually, no, we don't want this to be a free-for-all. We know some of the negative stuff that will come if we actually do these exit interviews, and so we're just not going to do them. So now we speculate. Which, is not good. I don't enjoy doing that, but at the same time, what else is there to do? What else is there to do? Because what else do you have? They're not giving you anything. They're not giving you much of anything. And that, my friends, is very annoying. But I get why I get why they're doing it. I really do. I really, really do. So that's kind of where we stand right now. We're in this weird limbo space where, we just don't really know what's going on with the Chicago Sky. And that leaves me with sort of just recapping this whole thing. So why am I talking about this, and why should we care? Why in the world should we care about something that is optional? Well, we should care because exit interviews provide closure. And it's one of the very few avenues that fans have to get a sneak peek of what might be next. Players talk about their development over the course of the season and what they want to accomplish in the offseason. You learn about some thoughts in free agency. You get some hints at the overall locker room vibes. And these are all things that you don't get during the daily grind of the season, right? When a team or a star player skips the exit interviews, well, it does leave a vacuum. And the vacuum gets filled with speculation, rumors, and a lot of uncertainty. And for Chicago, well, that's exactly what's happening right now. So to recap, we've seen exit interviews happening in the WNBA. Those are optional. Some teams do them, some teams don't. The Chicago Sky did, but Angel Reese, Courtney Vandersloot, and Ariel Atkins are not doing them. And that, my friends, is the kind of storyline that keeps us talking through the offseason. So, what do you all think? Does skipping the exit interviews for teams like the New York Liberty, like the Dallas Wings, do you think that helps to feed more speculation? Does the fact that Angel, Sloot, and Ariel didn't participate in exit interviews, does that mean that there's trouble brewing in Chicago and that we will see big changes to specifically those three players next year with their engagement with this team? Or do you think this is just a choose privacy type of thing? Whatever your thoughts are, just put them in the comments. I would love to hear what you all think about exit interviews, okay? Exit interviews. All right, so once again, guys, the New York Liberty, the Atlanta Dream, the Dallas Wings have skipped exit interviews. The Atlanta Dream are doing a media availability with the GM and head coach instead of exit interviews. But we have seen exit interviews come from Golden State, Seattle, Washington, LA, the Connecticut Sun, and the Chicago Sky. All right, now let's quickly see what you all have to say. And if y'all could, please make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. And I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody. We have hit 38,000 subscribers, guys. It's insane. I can't believe it. I thank you so much. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. It says the analytics tell me that about 60% of you all that watch are not subscribed to the channel. And so it really would help if you would subscribe. Double J says, I love exit interviews, but I respect the players either way. Ebony says, trouble has been brewing in Chicago all season. This is nothing new for us. We have been watching this organization crack and crumble all season. Yeah. Kay Jackson says, the Sky should have done all or nothing for exit interviews. Silence is loud, especially since we all knew that Courtney Vandersloot and Angel was not going to have their exit interviews the same day as everybody else. But on the exit interview sheet, Sloot was supposed to do her exit interviews that day with everybody else. I think she was supposed to be last, right before Jeff Pagliacca. But we then find out later in the day that actually Sloot will not be doing hers today. We will schedule that for a later time. We already knew going into the exit interviews for the Chicago Sky. We already knew about Ariel Atkins and Angel. We knew about that. The decision to either pull or maybe something happened and like she just couldn't make it anymore. I'm not sure. But Courtney Vandersloot was initially on the list for exit interviews that day, and it was later pulled. Why exactly? We never got a real answer as to why. Stern, thank you so much for the super chat, says, I don't think Jeff Pagliacca and Angel can coexist. At this point, yeah, you're probably right. And again, I think there would be a lot of clarity if we had a exit interview for Angel to really get her thoughts on it. But at the same time, players don't tell you exactly what they think often. They talk around answers, and then you just kind of got to figure out what they mean by how they said it. Chicago Cheetah says, Angel Reese doesn't trust the media or the Chicago Sky since the hit piece. I mean, I wouldn't blame her. To be honest with you, I wouldn't blame her. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't blame her not one bit if that's true. Yeah, if that's true, I wouldn't blame her because yeah, if you're that big of a person, I feel like it's hard to trust anybody, right? How do you know what you say and how you say it won't get misconstrued by the person who's like writing about it or by the people who are reading it? Like I think there's probably a lot of concerns that her and her team probably has, and hopefully after that interview, Angel's a whole lot more cautious about what she says and how she says it, or maybe she just puts it on unapologetically Angel. Now that season 2, I think, should be starting pretty soon for unapologetically Angel, and I just want to hear her from her own mouth on her own show address it. Angel, what do you think? What's going on? Do you and also her show is a great way to be a bully pulpit, to talk about, hey, I really didn't like how things happened in Chicago. Now, can Angel force a trade? No, she cannot. But she can use just the ability to kind of have a bully pulpit in a way, in terms of having your own show where you can literally say whatever you want, and then use that as an opportunity to get what she wants. If she does want to leave, or if she does want certain changes, she can make that happen, right? And so that's something that to me is very, very interesting. I'm very curious to see, to just see what comes about. I really am. I'm wishing for the absolute best, but I don't know, man. We'll ultimately see what happens. We'll ultimately see what happens, guys. And overall, guys, the Chicago Sky are just going to be trash for the next couple of years. Like, they're just. I thought this was going to be a year to positively get in a better direction, but nope. Not quite. Not good enough. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be Unrivaled. So in the chat, let's start to migrate our hearts and minds to Unrivaled. Okay. Let me just get these graphics together, because guys, Unrivaled has started making their moves, and I kind of like it. I kind of like what Unrivaled is doing. And I think some of the players that they've actually announced have been pretty cool. So I'm just finishing up these graphics, and we will move on to the first topic related to Unrivaled this year. Well, I guess it's not the first topic, but anyway. All right, let's get to it. All right. Unrivaled, ladies and gentlemen, has been busy. Unrivaled had their inaugural season in 2025, January of 2025, and it was a big success. They had more viewership than they had expected coming in. Fan attendance, even in a small arena, was fairly large. Players loved their experience, and a whole lot of other players wanted into Unrivaled. So overall, really good success, right? And since the season has ended for Unrivaled, we've seen them make move after move after move. First was their NIL deal with 14 of the top NCAA players right now. That was huge, right? When they signed players like Hannah Hidalgo, like a Madison Booker, Lauren Betts, Flau'jae Johnson, Olivia Miles, Kiki Rice, Sarah Strong, Silas Swords, Juju Watkins, Audie Crooks, right? AZ Fudd, Mylasia Fulwiley, Tanaya Latson. There has been a lot of moves that the Unrivaled team has been making. Yeah, sure. They shored up their future by getting some of the current stars in college basketball, including Lauren Betts' sister, who hasn't even played her first game for UCLA, but has already signed on with Unrivaled. Right? Then Unrivaled announced that their latest investment round was oversubscribed, meaning they made more money than they anticipated coming in. And we learned that the valuation, which in some instances is kind of a made-up number, but the valuation is $340 million. We learned that as well. And in the offseason, we've just continued to see new moves. As you can see, down below, you see 2 new logos. Because about 2 weeks ago, the Unrivaled team announced 2 new clubs ahead of their second season. Those 2 new clubs include Breeze BC and Hive BC. Right? This means 12 new players will be in Unrivaled. We also will have 6 additional players joining for a season-long development pool. What this allows for is players who can come in easily when a player gets injured, right? Multiple players get injured for a team. They need to bring in a hardship player. They can bring in one of these development players, and these development players can be very it can be very beneficial to their overall careers because they'll be just training all the time, right? With these changes, Unrivaled also announced that they will have a new schedule that will allow for teams not to have to play back-to-back days. Now, this past season, the first season, we saw each week we did see a couple of teams play back-to-back. So they may play, they may play back-to-back games. But that is supposed to be eliminated with these 2 new teams and a new schedule. And so that's something to note, right? And so that was something that also was announced. And then Unrivaled announced a new chief marketing officer. And the news has just continued to come through, right? For Unrivaled because, Unrivaled is here. And I want to talk about what else is happening with Unrivaled that came yesterday, because who does not like players getting announced in Unrivaled? And yesterday we saw a boatload of players get announced. A thing to note, guys, is that starting yesterday, the Unrivaled team is announcing 6 players each weekday, I should say, through October the 1st. All right. So we'll have 48 players on the roster announced by October the 1st. Now, we will not know what teams these players will play on. That'll be found out later. And also, we'll find out the 6 development players later as well. So every player you see announced between yesterday and October the 1st, these are players who will be on an official team for Unrivaled. None of these players will be on the development team. So with that being said, let's talk about the players who are in the building when it comes to Unrivaled. First up, we have Alyssa Thomas. AT is doing her thing. You know, last season was her first season with Unrivaled. She seemed to have a good time. And yeah, she will be back for another year, which I think it's kind of cool. I think that's very, very cool. And I love the way that it overall set up this, the way they had made the announcement, because it really does seem like they're still in sort of that school vibes type of thing. It says her hometown is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Fun fact, she could eat a truck full of Snack Factory pretzels and still want more. Who knew that Alyssa Thomas liked pretzels? I'm not really a pretzel person. I just feel like it makes me so thirsty. Like, I don't know. I'm not a pretzels person. Anyway. Now, in terms of the stats section, I'm gonna just read those because I think it's kind of fun. I like how they set this thing up. So for stats, league-wide, 3rd in offense, 5th in total rebounds. We have 3rd in offensive rebounds, 5th in total rebounds, 6-time All-Star. She rebounding champion at one point, steals leader at one point. She's a gold medalist and a walking triple-double. Okay. That is AT, who is making her return to Unrivaled. And speaking of players making their return to Unrivaled, next up we have Rakia Jackson will be back in Unrivaled, and that is really fun to see as well. I really enjoyed her with Unrivaled last season, and it should be cool to see her return. And for her, it says hometown Detroit, Michigan. Fun fact, says she shuts down every tunnel she walks through. Yes, Rakia Jackson is one of those players who will get her fit and strut her way down the carpet. All right, for stats. For last season for the Mist, she was 1st in 3-point shots made. She was 2nd in points scored, 2nd in field goals made. And for the WNBA, she was the 4th overall pick in the 2024 draft. All right. Rakia also making her return. And another player who is also making her return to Unrivaled, and that is none other than the unicorn herself, Satou Sabally. Now, Satou Sabally is, she really enjoyed her time in Unrivaled. We've heard her talk about the amenities that they have and talk about how, the WNBA got some stuff to learn and all that good stuff. And so, something to note. When it comes to her hometown, it says hometown, New York City, and then arrow to Berlin, Germany. And so, and then it says plus something else, but I can't read it. So, yeah. Anyway. And then fun fact, it says can speak 3 languages fluently: German, English, and Wolof. I think that's what it says. WOLOF. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. When it comes to Unrivaled stats, last season, Satu Sabli led Team Phantom in three-pointers made, and she was fifth league-wide in three-pointers made. In terms of the WNBA, Satu Sabli is a three-time All-Star, and she was a 2023 All-WNBA first-team player. All right, let's continue on to a newbie, but also someone that we knew about a long, long time ago. Actually, well, we didn't know about her a long time ago, but I think I got the order mixed up. Anyway, next up, let's talk about a newbie, and her name is Saniya Rivers. Now, guys, I gotta say, when I saw this come through about Saniya Rivers, I was so excited, and the reason why is because I think Saniya Rivers is just a joy. She is a joy to watch. I think she is just such a genuine person, such a hard worker. I just think she's awesome. And I do think that this is someone who will thrive in Unrivaled. I think Unrivaled is what she needs to work on her one-on-one game even more. Right? We know Saniya Rivers can get to the rim. But if Saniya Rivers can develop more of a mid-range, super consistent mid-range jumper and a super consistent three-point shot, it's over. I think Saniya Rivers has a lot of potential. I think she's going to be fun. I think she's going to bring the energy and the vibes, but also she's going to develop a whole lot. Right? So when it comes to Saniya Rivers, her hometown is Wilmington, North Carolina. The fun fact is that if she wasn't playing basketball, she would be a DJ. And guys, I'm not surprised about that, not one bit. I'm not surprised. Y'all surprised about Saniya Rivers being a DJ if she wasn't a player? That totally fits her. That totally fits her vibe. Love it. In terms of stats, Saniya Rivers comes into Unrivaled as a national champion. Remember, she won with South Carolina before transferring over to NC State. She was eighth overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft. She was the ACC Sixth Player of the Year in 2023, and she was the first team All ACC selection in 2024 and 2025. So, Saniya, she's going to bring the skill. And also, guys, she is going to bring the fun. Okay? Just, you better watch out. You better watch out for Saniya Rivers. Okay? Okay. Now we continue on. And we go to another newbie, but someone we knew was joining Unrivaled a long time ago. Right? We knew about this last year when she signed an NIL deal with Unrivaled, and that is none other than Paige Bueckers. Paige Bueckers is making her debut in Unrivaled, and I think it should be kind of fun because we all know how great of a player Paige Bueckers is. I think she is someone who has a very, very, very bright future in the WNBA, and we just got to see, man, how she looks with that 3-on-3 play. I do think she's going to thrive. I do think she's going to probably be one of the best players right off the bat in Unrivaled. And I think it should be fun. She's from Hopkins, Minnesota, and her fun fact is that she believes Shirley Temples are one of the greatest drinks of all time. And I got to be true. I got to be truthful with y'all. I have no idea what Shirley Temples are. I know that Paige loves Shirley Temples. I know that I believe Gatorade ended up making a Shirley Temple version for Paige. But I have no idea what is even in a Shirley Temple. I don't know, and I don't necessarily care to know. But anyway, she will be in Unrivaled, and I'm excited about it. In terms of random information regarding Paige Bueckers, she was, of course, the number one pick in the 2025 WNBA draft. And this year, she became a All-Star as well. She also is a national champion, and she won that in 2025. Paige Bueckers, yes, the Dallas Wings was losing a lot, but Paige is winning this season. This year. This has been her year, right? Winning a championship in college. As you are exiting out, that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Anyway, Paige Beckers is third all-time in rookie points and assists. She also has the record for most points by a rookie in a single game. She was the Rookie of the Year. And she folded 1,500 shirts as a Unrivaled intern. Okay, intern Paige. That was something I didn't realize. That's kind of funny that they use a random fact like that. And then we move to our final player that was announced. And guys, I gotta say, this pick surprised me, but it made me so happy at the same time. And that is Erica Wheeler. Guys, Erica is from Miami. Her hometown is Miami, and she will be at home for the games, which I think is so cool. Right? I think she might be the first Miami native to play at Unrivaled, and I think that's really cool. So shout out to Erica Wheeler. Number one, Erica Wheeler is phenomenal. I think she is one of the best locker room fits that you can really have on a team. Someone who can just make the locker room a joy. Also someone who is an absolute competitor, right? Have you all seen what Erica Wheeler did with the Seattle Storm this year? How she earned her way into a starting spot on this team, and how she just outperformed some of her other more talented players, teammates. Erica Wheeler is phenomenal, and I'm so excited that she is on Team Unrivaled. Her fun fact is that she owns a restaurant called Cliche in the Atlanta area. Darn, I wish I knew that. Erica Wheeler, I wish I knew that you owned a restaurant in Atlanta, because I was in Atlanta this summer, and I would have went to your restaurant and gave you some business and made a video about it. I did not know. So next time I go to Atlanta, now I know that Erica Wheeler owns a restaurant called Cliche. And if y'all are in the Atlanta area, check out the restaurant. Show some love. Show some love, okay? Show some love. Also, another fun fact for Erica Wheeler is that she is the first undrafted player to win the WNBA All-Star Game MVP. I remember that. That was a fun All-Star when she won. She was so emotional, so excited. And literally, guys, all the players, they just seem to love her. I just think Erica Wheeler is just one of those special players. Yes, everybody likes her, but also she's a hooper. Straight up hooper. Now, when it comes to the stats for Erica Wheeler, she's a one-time All-Star and one-time All-Star MVP in that 2019 year, which was awesome. That was back when she was originally with the Indiana Fever, and then she left, went over to, I believe, LA or something like that. Ultimately made her way to Seattle this past year. And if Seattle are smart, you're bringing back Erica Wheeler. If Seattle's smart, they're bringing back Erica. We'll see if they're smart or not. But if another team is smart, if Erica Wheeler's out there, you better pick her up. I think she's a fantastic player who can come off the bench for your team and just sort of be a combo guard type of player for your team. All right. Also, Erica Wheeler is the fourth player in Storm franchise history to knock down 10 or 70 3-pointers in a single season. Wow. Okay, Erica. And also, Erica Wheeler moved into the top 25 all-time assist leader list. That's pretty exciting. All right, so there you have it. Those are the initial 6 players who will be in Unrivaled today. We'll find out 6 more, and then we'll continue to go on and go on and go on and find out all the players who are in Unrivaled. I'm excited about Unrivaled. Personally, are you all excited? I'm very curious to hear what you all have to say in the comments. So yeah, let's kind of open it up. Let's open it up for your comments, and I do want to bring some on the screen and see what you all have to say. Shamika says, I can't wait to see the team rosters. Yeah, me too. I wonder if they're going to do it similar to last year where the coaches picked players to be on certain teams and then the coaches found out later what teams they're going to be on. Also, I'm curious to hear who's going to be the coaches. Is Teresa Weatherspoon joining back again? Is Noah who's joining? I'm very curious to hear what's going on that front. Very, very, very curious. Oh, what's her name? No, I'm saying her name wrong. The coach of Team Rose. She's also the coach of the Dallas Wings. Assistant coach for the Dallas Wings. I'm blanking on her name. Starts with an N. Anyway, thank you so much to GDM for the super chat. Says, I love the one-on-one part in Unrivaled, but they need to regulate it by height and position. A 5'6" guard shouldn't have to play a 6'5" post. Yeah. Nola, there we go. Nola, I was close. Yeah, is she rejoining? But yeah, I do. I love it and I hate it at the same time with the one-on-one competition. Cause I do like the fact that like, hey, if you're going to a park and you about to play basketball, people are already there and they're like, okay, well, let's do one-on-one. It doesn't matter the size of the player you're going against. You going against whoever's there. That person could be way taller than you. That person could be way shorter than you. It's not like a thing where it's like, oh, well, you too tall. Let me go against somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just go against whoever. And I do like that nature about Unrivaled. But at the same time, it feels like the players who are going to win consistently are going to be the bigger players. LJG says, life ain't fair, check ball. I mean, that's a great phrase for life. Hey, life ain't fair. Hey, check ball. Let's do it. Let's do it. Quinta says, I'm excited. Yeah, it should be pretty fun. It should be pretty fun. El Kune sent this earlier. It says, I don't understand people hoping for the downfall of Unrivaled. Unrivaled keeps these players in shape as well as pays them to stay in the country. Everybody should be on board with that. I mean, El Kune, you're right. Like, yeah. I think there's just a lot of awesome stuff that Unrivaled offers. Now, does everyone have to love Unrivaled? No. Right? No, you don't have to like Unrivaled. You don't have to like the players that play in Unrivaled. But I do think that every serious fan of the WNBA would want players to stay in America in the offseason, right? Especially after like the whole like BG thing, like don't you want players to stay in America and actually be able to enjoy a real offseason where they actually are off for a couple of months as opposed to literally going straight from the exit interviews onto a plane to go overseas for several months, only to return in late March, early April? Don't you want people to stay in America and be able to get paid at a high amount? You may not like Unrivaled. Unrivaled may not be for you, which is fine. It may not be for you because not everybody likes 3-on-3. And personally, I don't like 3-on-3. I don't like 3-on-3. I don't. But I watch Unrivaled because number one, it's featuring some of the best players in the W. Two, I just want to support. Right? And I have found Unrivaled fun, even though I don't really like 3-on-3. I don't. Duck says you can't force people to watch what they don't want to watch. Facts. And here's the thing. Not watching it is not the same thing as hoping for Unrivaled downfall. It's fine if you don't watch it because that's not your style and you don't like 3-on-3. That's fine. Totally fine. And I'm not saying that people should be forced to watch Unrivaled. If you don't want to watch Unrivaled, don't watch Unrivaled. Right? But I don't also think that you have to hope for their downfall either. Let players make, have players want to make money. They want to do it in America. There's a route to do it in America while also allowing them time off of their body. Right? And so that's the thing. I do think there's a lot of positives that this has. Yes, is 3-on-3 full court, even though this court is smaller, is that probably more taxing on your body than 5-on-5? I don't know. But I do think that there are probably more muscles that you reach playing 3-on-3 because it's in the way that Unrivaled plays it, because it's less stoppage and it's very fast paced, right? It's very like quick movements and whatnot. And so there could be a possibility of more of various injuries on that route. However, they also get time off, which they would not have if they went overseas. For a ton of players, like literally going overseas, you are playing right after the WNBA season's over, and you're playing right until the upcoming season. Ask a ton of former WNBA players, and even current WNBA players. They'll tell you they have about a week or two off every year. They're either in America for the WNBA or they're overseas with their international team. They don't get a break. Whereas Unrivaled runs from January to early March or mid-March. That means that players who are playing in Unrivaled have between now and January. Of course they're working out. Of course they're keeping their body in shape, but they don't have to play games. They can rest and recuperate and get back together. And that allows more time, which is different than if they went overseas. And so, yeah. Rotu says, facts, Quita, there are sports I don't like, so I simply don't watch that sport. There are teams in a sport that aren't my favorite, so I simply don't watch that team, even when they play a team I like. Yeah, if you don't like it, don't watch. But I don't think you necessarily have to, pray for someone's downfall, pray for the league's downfall because you don't like it. You can admit the positives that it does for the game while also saying, well, I don't want to watch, so I'm not going to watch. And that's fine. That is fine. Constance says, do you think Cheryl Miller's Upshot League will be like NBA G League? No. Because the NBA G League is the NBA G League because it's officially tied to the NBA. And so unless the WNBA officially partners with that Upshot League, no. But I am hoping for success with that new league that's being created. GDM, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, so you are not a fan of 3-on-3 in the Olympics? No, I'm not a fan of 3-on-3 in the Olympics. Now, did I watch the Team USA in the 3-on-3, 3x3 for the Olympics? I did watch them. I didn't really care for it. I didn't. I watched it because I needed to report on it. But if I wasn't reporting on it, honestly, I wouldn't have watched the 3x3. Because for me, I just don't find it interesting. I just don't. I think it's important, when we're talking about women's basketball, and so I talk about it and I watch it because I need to know what I'm talking about. But no, I don't like 3x3. I don't. It is what it is, right? I watch it. I try to watch it. I try to like it. It's just not a natural thing for me. Right? Road 2 says, we are living in a women's basketball beautiful time. We have NCAA, WNBA, and Unrivaled being broadcasted. And also, guys, also, don't forget about Athletes Unlimited, who has been announcing players and who I will be talking about soon. Now, while we talk about all the stuff about Unrivaled, Athletes Unlimited came first, right? And I'm very grateful for Athletes Unlimited on what they're doing in the softball space and what they're doing in the basketball space. To me, I think it's awesome. Now, yes, does Unrivaled have better players? Yes. But Athletes Unlimited is 5-on-5, and it has more opportunities for some of the players who are not like top dogs to get even more development, right? I love to see it. So shout out to Athletes Unlimited. I don't want y'all to be like, see, Quita don't care about Athletes Unlimited. I do care, all right? And I will be covering them. Anna Logie, thank you so much for the super chat, says, do you think Unrivaled has made the WNBA faster? Possibly. I don't know. I'd have to ponder about that question a little bit more. But, I mean, my initial reaction is yeah, probably. Allie says Tina Charles is in AU this year. She is. She is in Athletes Unlimited, which is going to be really fun. Which is going to be really, really, really fun. All right, guys. I got to get to work. As per usual. All right, guys. Y'all have a great one. Be kind to people. Tell people that they matter because they truly, truly do. If no one has told you, you matter. Well, let me tell you. Let me be the first today to tell you. You matter. You are important, and I'm very, very happy that you are on this earth. Guys, I thank you for watching. I thank you for hitting that like button. I thank you for engaging in the comments. I really do appreciate it. Yes, Athletes Unlimited is on TV, and you also can watch select games in the WNBA app because they do have a partnership with the WNBA. And so that's something that's really, really cool. Something that the Unrivaled does not have with the WNBA. Athletes Unlimited is available in the WNBA app. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Let me find my exit. And here we go. All right. Until next time, me and Mama will be talking about the games after they happen today. So get ready for that. All right. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.